Good morning and welcome to Cooking Through the Calendar. This month's feature is Easy Peasy Mac and Cheesy. I'm Lindy Huffman, Pendleton County Ag and Natural Resource Agent here at the Kentucky Millstone in Butler, Kentucky with head chef and owner Lori Himmelsbach. Thanks for having us today, Lori.
Thanks for coming.
So today we're going to feature the recipe to let you know how you can talk about fresh milled wheats and the difference in whole grains and enriched flours. So Lori, tell me a little bit about the Millstone.
My parents actually owned the Millstone restaurant in Falmouth in the 80s, and so the name kind of is a tip to them, as well as the fact that we're on Mill Street here in Butler, and we also mill our own flour. So it's like the perfect name.
It is.
So we really are excited about offering the local community a great place to come and enjoy the area. We do focus on all fresh foods, so we do bake all of our morning quick items with freshly milled flour. So not only is it healthier for you, but it also tastes better. So, and then we offer soup, salads, and sandwiches and things, pizza for lunch.
Well, and I can attest that the flavors are delicious. I haven't met anything here that I don't like. Lori is also a member of the Pendleton County Farmers Market, so during the summer you can check out some extra special features at the Pendleton County Farmers Market. But today we're going to talk to you about wheat. So wheat is a product that's grown here in Kentucky. You can see what is harvested from the field there. And that's what it would look like when it comes from the field if it was hand harvested. But we use mechanical harvesters, and we actually separate the heads off so that we can mill those. So we're going to switch over, and Lori's going to show us how to mill the grain.
Sounds good.
All right, Lori, so one of the things that makes you extra special is that you are milling your own flour here at the Millstone. So let's talk about some of the wheat and then what it looks like when we go through the milling process.
Sounds good. So this wheat is extra special because it actually came from a farmer in Pendleton County. So when you come to the Millstone, you eat your morning, Danish or pastry, you'll have freshly milled Pendleton County wheat. So this particular item is the wheat berry, and so it is separated from the head of the wheat. So you obviously don't want to eat all this. And then we're going to put it in our mills. So here we have a Como mill from Pleasant Hill Grain. And then this one's a mill I've had for years. You could probably find something similar on Amazon. So if you really wanted to get into milling your own grain, you could just buy a really inexpensive mill from Amazon and you'd be good to go. Now the difference between this is when we mill this, it's going to be a 100% grain. So there will be no bran taken out of it. There will be no germ taken out of it. It's about as healthy as you can get. But sometimes it tastes a little too healthy. So there's also a sifting process which actually pulls some of that bran out and some of the hardier products out. It'll still leave the germ in there, but it's a little more palatable. So there's a couple of different types of wheat that you can use.
Okay, well, I love how you're supporting our local farmers here in the county, and that's one of the missions here at the Millstone too, is that she's using local ingredients to provide a lot of that extra local flavor that's going to add to the freshness and taste of all these products. So are you ready to start milling?
I think we are.
All right, let's do it. What an amount of time that would take to mill, but we're really excited because we're getting a
bigger mill. So it's a beautiful wooden mill. It comes from Germany. I've worked with it before, so I know the quality of the product that it makes. So we're super excited about that.
We're very excited because more mill means more product means more baked items.
And it'll take me a whole lot less time.
And a whole lot less time. And this lady stays super busy. So when we're looking at this Easy Peasy Mac and Cheese, it does call for whole wheat pasta. Now this picture is not a picture of whole wheat pasta. That's going to be your traditional white pastas. So it's going to look a little bit different. So we've got a variety of the freshly milled that we just milled in the black bowl there. So you can see what it looks like before it's sifted. And then we've got the whole wheat pasta after it's been sifted. And then you can just see that comparison to the commercial enriched white flour. So you can see the doughs there in front. She's got some pasta dough already made up so that we can take a look at that as well. And we're going to turn it over. I'm going to introduce you to Jennifer Brett, our new program assistant at the Pendleton County Extension Office, who's going to talk to you about the differences in the health and benefits that we get when we eat whole grain pastas.
Hi there. As Lindy said, I'm Jennifer Brett. I'm the new program assistant at the Pendleton County Extension Office. My background is in nutrition, so I'm going to be talking about the many benefits of whole grains. Today we're talking about wheat in particular. And in the dietary guidelines, they recommend that half of your grains be whole grains, and that's because there are so many benefits to the grains being whole. Using the bran and the germ, as she mentioned, in the final product is what qualifies the product as being whole grain. And since we're focusing on the whole wheat today, we'll touch on the benefits of whole wheat pasta versus enriched pasta, where by law, the manufacturer has to add some nutrients back to the product that have been taken out in the process, but they don't add them all back. So one benefit is fiber. So fiber is important for our GI system to work. It allows food to pass through our system and out as waste in a timely manner, and this helps to reduce the risk of colon cancer. It also provides food for the good bacteria in our gut, which is important for our immune system to be healthy. It also helps remove some unwanted things from our system, such as cholesterol. So the more cholesterol flowing through your blood, the more plaque buildup you have, and that's going to cause heart attacks and strokes down the road. So this is going to help get that out of our system. Dietary guidelines recommend 14 grams per 1,000 calories consumed. So about 25 to 34 grams for women and about 30 to 40 grams for men. So in this whole wheat pasta, a 2-ounce serving, which is about 1 cup of cooked pasta, contains 7 grams of fiber, 5 to 7 depending on different brands. In the enriched pasta, there is only 2 to 3 grams of fiber for the same size serving. So if we're trying to eat healthier and not eat as much to reduce our caloric intake, we would have to eat twice as much of this in order to get as much fiber as this. And therefore, we're just adding more calories and whatever else we're putting on to that pasta dish as well. Important tip here, be sure that you increase your water intake as you increase your fiber intake. Otherwise, you're going to experience some constipation, gas, and cramping. Another benefit to whole grains is potassium. This is a mineral that is important for our hearts to function by regulating our blood pressure. It's important for muscle contraction and nerve function, and it also regulates how much fluid and other minerals enter our cells. Another benefit is the B vitamins that it contains, in particular thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, and folate. These vitamins are all essential parts of many enzymes, hormones, and cells in our body. They're important for our digestion and absorption, which is what turns our food into energy. They're important for nerve function, muscle function, and cardiovascular health, including production of red and white blood cells, and helping to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. Niacin in particular also helps with skin integrity, and folate is part of DNA and RNA, so it's needed for growth, especially, and reproduction. So there are a couple of other quick benefits to whole grains. There's a thing called phytochemicals, which is a part of a natural substance, but it cannot be isolated in a lab. So it cannot be added back to an enriched product. So lots of different names on phytochemicals. We won't go into any of those, but it's something that cannot be added back, so you're only going to get it in the whole grain product. Vitamin E is also in the bran of the whole wheat product, and these and other antioxidants are not required again to be added back by law. So while they can be isolated, they don't have to be added back, so most places aren't going to. So therefore, the whole package of a wheat kernel is better for you, as your body can digest it and use all the different parts in conjunction. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jen. So there's a lot of added benefits to either A, freshly milled grains, or whole wheat grains. So there's a lot of opportunities. But you don't have to necessarily purchase pasta, right, Lori?
That's true. You can actually make your own pasta. So you can Google it online and try and figure that out, or we also have pasta teaching classes here.
That's great. So we might be partnering with Lori in the future for offering a few different classes that you can do through the Extension office, but you can also check out her website
Yeah, www.kymillstone.com.
And you can check out further classes. And then, of course, visit them during the week. Taste out those freshly milled, freshly baked local products.
Sounds good.
Hi, welcome to our second Cooking Through the Calendar. Today for our February recipe, we're making easy peasy mac and cheese. The one ingredient that they don't tell you is in the recipe, we'll see if you can find out as I'm adding it, because it kind of shocked me as I was reading through the recipe. The very first thing the recipe called for, which I also pre-prepped and did for us, was preparing our pasta. Now I will tell you, you can purchase any pasta. I could not find elbow macaroni and whole wheat at local grocery stores that we can go to. So I just purchased whole wheat pasta of any kind, and it kind of says you can. Shell would have been better, but they didn't even have shell. So we have these nice little pretty rotatini, probably said that wrong, pasta. And I will tell you, if you look at the picture, I also thought the picture was pretty deceiving, because if I'm thinking I'm using whole wheat pasta, I'm not thinking my pasta's going to look like that when it's cooked. But maybe in your local grocery store or wherever you might shop, they will have a whole wheat pasta that appears more in the color of the pasta, normal pasta that's not whole wheat. But of course, we want to keep it healthy. We're using whole wheat, and we want to make sure that we cook the pasta according to the directions on the box. Once it's done, rinse it. I have it here and I have it draining, so it's ready to add to my dish. We're going to move on to make the cheese sauce, and it says it's very important that it does not boil, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. But in my pan, the only thing I've added was my 1 can of fat-free evaporated milk. So we have our 1 can evaporated milk added to that. To that, we are adding our cheese. It calls for 8 ounces of mild or sharp cheddar. You can always use a little less if you use sharp, but then again, who wants to use less cheese if you're making macaroni, right? So I'm going to add our cheese, and then I'm just going to stir it till the cheese starts to melt a little bit. It should thicken up our sauce. And that's what we're thinking. They did say when you were cooking your pasta, you could reserve a little bit of the pasta water. The pasta water is what has the starch in it. The starch will make things thicker if you think the recipe you're preparing is not thick enough. So I just have a little I pulled out of the pasta water before I drained it. And this little glass measuring thing right here, just in case I need to add it. It's healthier to add that than to add more cheese. Kenna's liking would maybe be add more cheese. But we're trying to, you know, think of the new year, think of still staying healthy, thinking we're in February now, staying true to our New Year's resolutions if yours was to be healthier. The cheese is melted. It seems fairly thick. And then we're going to add some of these other ingredients that it calls to. To that, I am adding garlic powder, and we need 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. We're adding celery salt, and I'm going to kind of pour this into my thing over a plate because it's kind of hard to measure, but it says we are using quite a bit of celery salt. We are using a tablespoon. Well, not celery salt, celery seed. I'm sorry. Celery seed. We're using a tablespoon of celery seed. Little bit of salt, half teaspoon it says. So I'm just gonna this is how Kenna does a half teaspoon. People can add more salt if they want. A little bit of pepper. This is how Kenna does her pepper. It does say that it should be a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Some people like pepper, so you could add a little more if you want. Trying not to let my pot boil on my low temperature. Gonna mix that all together quite well, and then we just kind of add the rest of our ingredients to our mac and cheese. It calls for a can of peas, drained, so I have peas going in it. this is the ingredient that kind of surprised me. Tuna. A can of tuna, drained. Use a fork that I see right here. Probably for tasting this recipe afterwards, but that's okay. I'm gonna flake it in here. I like my tuna not chunked as it goes in, so as you're adding it, if you just use a fork or something to flake it up a little as you're adding it to your pot, that helps. And you don't have to do that while it's in the pot. Add that tuna. Push my lids back down so I don't cut myself reaching. Mix that all together. And that last ingredient to make it that mac and cheese is to add our pasta. So we use that whole box. It called for 16 ounces. And we're just going to add that in there. Let everything mix together. The pasta's hot because it just finished cooking. This is a really quick, I mean, look how quick I threw this whole recipe together. The thing that took the longest was maybe preparing the pasta. And technically, you can prepare pasta ahead of time. You can put it in a Ziploc bag after you cooked it. Make sure you cool it down with some cool water to stop the cooking process. Stick it in your refrigerator. Maybe you can keep it about 2 days. I wouldn't keep it much longer than that, but you could have done that the night before. And when you're getting ready to make this dish, just immerse it in some boiling water for just a quick second, just to heat it back up, rinse it again, and then add it to your dish. Then, let's see, in 10 minutes, we have supper. Everything you need. You have a vegetable, you have your whole wheat pasta, and you have your protein between the cheese and the tuna. I'm going to show you what it looks like on a plate, and I don't judge my plate compared to the pretty picture in the calendar, but I promise you Kendall's going to enjoy eating this for lunch regardless of if my pasta doesn't look as pretty or as bright and colorful as that. There we go. Easy peasy mac and cheese with tuna, I might add. Enjoy.
February's physical activity tip of the month is to find a workout buddy. Studies show that people are 3 times more likely to adopt a good workout routine, like new routines, if they've got a friend that's right there with them. The key to staying committed to exercising daily is finding something that you like, and that way it doesn't seem quite so much like a chore. For some people, they enjoy weightlifting. It's a great way to burn calories, to see some muscle toning and definition, while also relieving stress. Know your body, know your limits, pick a set of weights that work for you, and do what you can to maximize each particular weightlifting exercise. For instance, if we're doing shoulder presses, you want to go all the way up and utilize the full range of motion that the lifting weights can do for you. If we move to bicep curls, make sure that you are holding the weights away from your body. No cheating and putting your elbows in your side. We want to keep all the weight there at our biceps so that our biceps are maximizing that workout. If we're doing triceps, you want to make sure that you reach all the way back and give that extra little hold so that your triceps really feel the impact of that weight.
Thanks for tuning in to Cooking Through the Calendar. Join us next month for chicken Caesar pasta and a trip to a local farm. In the meantime, if you'd like program updates, be sure to like and follow along on the Pendleton County Extension Office Facebook page.